So let's start off by you just telling us how long have you been homeschooling, and then what made you to decide to homeschool?
I've been homeschooling. So I have 7 children. So for almost, my oldest is 25. So
For a long
goodness,
time.
for a long time. I decided when my daughter started kindergarten, I did homeschool her in kindergarten, and then I decided that I would put her in regular school. And so I did that. And that scared the life out of me. I volunteered, and I saw this was just not what I was looking for. It was too
Yeah.
cookie cutter. So that's when I decided that not only will I will just pull her out. I did, and I started my homeschool journey.
Hello and welcome to the Thrive Communities podcast, a place where real homeschool families share their stories and the heart behind their decision to educate at home. At Thrive Communities, our mission is to support and connect homeschool families in a community where children and parents can truly thrive. Whether you are new to homeschooling, considering it, or have been on the journey for years, we're so glad you're here.
All right. Thanks, Leetha, for joining me on the Thrive podcast. I am so excited to interview you. You're my dear friend. We met through Thrive. Our relationship has grown through Thrive. I've seen you in your Thrive career just grow so much. And so I'm just so excited to have you share about yourself and your experience with Thrive Communities.
Thank you.
So let's start off by you just telling us how long have you been homeschooling, and then what made you to decide to homeschool?
I've been homeschooling. So I have 7 children. So for almost, my oldest is 25. So goodness, for a long time. I decided when my daughter started kindergarten, I did homeschool her in kindergarten, and then I decided that I would put her in regular school. And so I did that. And that scared the life out of me. I volunteered, and I saw this was just not what I was looking for. It was too cookie cutter. So that's when I decided that not only will I will just pull her out. I did, and I started my homeschool journey.
How many kiddos have you homeschooled?
All 7 of them.
All seven.
All
And
seven.
so what's your oldest in
My
age?
oldest is 25, and then I have a 24-year-old now. I would have been 20-year-old, and then 2 19-year-olds, and they're twins, obviously. And then who else? What else I got? I know I'm missing some children. It's like, oh yeah. And then I have a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Okay, awesome. And so senior homeschool mama, how did you find Thrive whenever you started?
I started with a phone call. Actually, my friend, I was subbing at some different schools. And she's like, "Hey, I know you're a teacher. There's this new school starting, and this lady is so awesome. Would you like to interview with her?" And I called and I said, "That would be fun." And so I did, and I fell in love with Kim, and I think we've had a mutual love affair in a beautiful way, good way. And I decided to come on with Thrive.
All right. And then your kiddos that have been able to attend Thrive, what have they said they've enjoyed most about it?
The community. And I think by far it's the community for them. They both got a chance to do a regular school because there was just like a little crisis in our life. So we had to go back, and I taught and all that other stuff. So coming to Thrive, they absolutely loved it. They loved the small classrooms. They loved the teachers. They have more friends than I probably do. Their social life is very packed. And that's probably their favorite thing, is just having all the friends that they've gained.
Yeah, mine too. I think the community of Thrive is just so immense. And I think we think of the kiddos making friends, but like you and I becoming close friends, I think teachers too, and parents too.
Yes.
We see that so often.
Yes. And the parents have been amazing. So,
Yeah. So you've kind of been in a bunch of roles at Thrive. You started as a teacher, you're a program lead for a couple days. Now you have 4 days. Now you're a regional lead. We're just adding it to your plate here. What do you love most about Thrive and being a part of Thrive and meeting with parents and kiddos?
Oh my goodness, that's such a good question. The most thing I love about it is really the community. It starts from the top, and the top is amazing. The leadership is amazing. I even told my husband, boy, I think more companies need to structure their company like Thrive, because I've been in a lot of different positions in different places, And the family unit on Thrive is so amazing. So you start from the top. Then I have the best teachers in the whole wide world. And it almost feels like they're family. And that family is just growing. We have each other's back. We have fun. We keep stretching ourselves. And then I have the marvelous parents who are involved, who are kind, send me wonderful notes. I mean, and then their children. Oh my goodness. This is like, I tell everybody, this is, if I could have created a job, this is the most perfect job for me, just because I get all of it. I love people. So to have all of this in one little thing, I'm never quitting. So yeah.
Well, don't.
Yeah.
I talked to Kim earlier about kind of her vision around bringing in homeschool parents who've left their career and to, you know, get positions within Thrive and have an income and be able to make a difference in the community. You've also, through your community, have brought in a lot of people, a lot of your friends and within your inner group that are now with Thrive. What impact have you seen for their lives?
First of all, I'm going to say financial for my teachers. You don't get what you get here outside. So a lot of us have been subs, and having that be that way, there's just not the opportunity that we have at Thrive. So now they have this wonderful opportunity to be a teacher or to be a PL and be able then to grow themselves. I was talking to one of our PLs. She loves that she's growing. She loves that she's stretching. She's learning so much. So that's the biggest thing I see, is that they love, and they love the financial part too, which is awesome. You know, as a stay-at-home mom, all of a sudden you're getting a check. You're like, whoa, I don't even know what to do with this. This is amazing. So yeah, it's just this whole encompassing thing. So.
Yep, it is. And if you were talking to somebody who does not know Thrive, like they don't know about Thrive, they've never heard of it, maybe they're skeptical of Thrive, like what is this group coming into our community? What would you say to them?
This sounds so corny, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's the answer. It really is. I've done co-ops, I've done regular school, I've done charter schools. This is that wonderful hybrid, whatever, of all of it together. You get your homeschool vibe. They get to be with kids. They get to have lunch like a regular school, if you will. They get to change classes. They get different teachers. And then also at the same end, you know, the parents get to rest. They get to play with their one child that is just, you know, an infant, and they need that to be that way, you know. They get to, it's just, I actually apologized to my older kids that this wasn't around. Yeah. I did. I'm like, sorry, kids. I'm so sorry. This wasn't around back in the day. And I wish you had what my younger kids get now. So,
yeah, we're getting that a lot from senior homeschool parents who just wish they would have had something like this for their kids, especially in the high school arena for like the older kids. You know, it could be lonely.
Yeah,
for those,
it really can be.
Those kiddos. So there's a lot of people pulling their kids out of school right now and considering homeschooling, and they're scared and fearful because it's a new endeavor for them. What would you tell a new family to homeschooling, or maybe homeschool curious?
Well, I did today, just in one of my tours. I said, listen, it's scary. I understand that feeling. You feel like you're going to ruin your children. I said, but you're not. You can do more in 2 hours with your homeschooler than you can in a schoolroom. So I let them know that you're going to make mistakes, and I put that in quotes because you're the best person to be able to teach your child, and they listen, they grow, they learn. I told them about my children now are like entrepreneurs. They started a business together. They're engineer in the Air Force, all this stuff. You're not going to ruin your child. And it is scary, but our community at Thrive really helps facilitate that feeling. And then you start realizing, oh, I'm doing okay. Oh, and you get to be also more unique to your own child. Yeah. And like all my kids had different little things that they did that weren't all the same as one deal, you know, one kid. And you don't get that in a regular school. So
yeah, that's true.
So and then I offer my services. I'll help you out. We'll find a curriculum, you know.
I think that's, we talked about just how the people within Thrive, like you, like program lead roles, how much you care about helping families to navigate this new journey or this journey that they've been on for a long time, and now they're changing it up. So I think about Thrive and people like you and teachers that we have who just have the same mission. They just love kids and want to make a difference for them. Yeah. And I think that's really what helps Thrive stand out.
Yeah.
Thinking about homeschooling, there's a lot of options.
Yes.
You choose a ton of things. What do you think makes Thrive different about all of those options out there?
Honestly, I do believe that, like I said, even in one of my tours, our teachers care. They put a lot of energy into it. They put a lot of thought into it. I've been around, so I've seen teachers just kind of float through. Our teachers care. And again, it starts from the top. And it starts from the top. We care. We care about everything we put, even all the way to eating lunch and not eating alone. That's not something you get at a regular school. You're going to see kids sitting out there alone and not having anybody. So, or lunch being only 7 minutes long versus 20 minutes long. I mean, we put so much thought and effort and Thrive from even a co-op. It is just completely different. It's like I said, it's just, it's more of a whole unit to me.
Yeah, not just individuals. Yeah, everyone really, really does care. I know you've already spoken a lot about your position and the impact you've made, but what would you say is your favorite part of working with Thrive?
Oh, that's tricky. What would it be? What gets me up in the morning, honestly, and I know this sounds weird, but I might even cry because I even told my assemblies group this, is hearing the kids. I get a lot of hugs. I hear their cute little voices. Oh my gosh, I'm crying. I told them, I'm sorry. I get to hear their laughter. I get to hear their little dreams. I get to see their cute outfits. Now that I'm not bearing any more children, this is awesome. It really, I get hugs. I love it. So I would say the children are really my thing.
I agree with that. I've been out and about. No, don't make me cry.
Sorry.
Don't make me cry. I've been out and about too, and to hear someone yell like Miss Sophia across the grocery store or out of a car, like it just, and the hugs.
Yeah, the hug, and I have a whole wall of all their little pictures on my desk. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I love it. So,
and the parents too, they're just so grateful. You can just tell.
Yeah, they really are. I'm gonna take this off.
I know.
Oh my God.
They're just so grateful. You can just see, like, I want you to share maybe a glimmer that you've done for a homeschool parent because, we both know as a homeschool parent, we don't get feedback on our kids. Like, we are the teacher, we're the principal, no one gives us feedback. Right. We know they're good, but, like, no one tells us they're good. What feedback have you gotten from a parent when you've reached out and just to tell them how awesome their kid is?
Oh my goodness. I get so many good feedbacks. They're just like, one lady actually cried because she said, no one has ever said this about my child. And I think being a homeschool mom, you're lonely, first of all. Even if you got a great community, there's a lone time. And being able to give them these glimmers and let them know that their kid is amazing. There's something unique about your child that needs to be expressed. So I've gotten a lot of, oh my goodness, that made my day. Thank you so much. Thrive is so awesome. We're never leaving. We get lots of things. So it's rewarding in itself just to hear that and then one just recently, my kid listened to this 4 times, in a row, and then asked us to hear it again. And so I think those are the little gems.
And then them walking in and their little peacock feathers they're like, I got a glimmer from you, It's just the sweetest thing ever
really,
for them
really
to just feel so proud of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it so much. With Thrive, going into different communities and, them looking at Thrive as this brand new company. What are they doing coming into our little small town? But knowing Kim as deeply as you know Kim, how do you think Thrive's sticking to that small town loving feeling, even though we're going into more communities?
It is just us. It sounds weird, but it sounds corny. Thrive vibe. We come in, and I was even explaining that this day on my tour. Even though we've grown, we have stayed small. We have stayed personal. We have stayed, and I think what happens when we go into that kind of a community, they will feel it instantly. They will know. I mean, like again, some of my tours, like this is amazing because it started off in a small town, So since it started off in a small town, we've kept that value and we've kept those goals. And having our teachers come out there and greet them in the morning and do all these things, it has been. From what I heard when we just started up Queen Creek, they were just like amazed at this, So I think for that small town that's coming in and this is just open up and receive, you'll get it. You'll feel it.
How do you think Thrive's impacted your community specifically when we started there? You started more recently than some of the other ones. How do you think it's impacted them? What have you seen?
What I've loved, so I think for me personally, because we're one of the most unique campuses.
Yeah.
It has fostered a big friendship. A lot of the moms are telling the other moms, and then they're telling the other moms. And so I get a lot of tours like, oh, my so-and-so, my friend, my neighbor goes here, and this is where I hear. So I hear a lot of, my neighbor told me this, and my soccer teacher told me this. So I think it is just, one lady told me today, you guys are like the it. And I'm like, really? You know, because I don't have time for a lot of media, right? But it's here that they're just telling their soccer player, their voice coach. It's just, so I think it's really making a big impact. It's definitely making a big impact.
Yeah, and somewhere you're kind of in an area that's a little more out of town, so they're also pulled away from more options being out there, and so Thrive coming in and giving them a place to go and not have to drive far, and then people in their community that they're seeing at places like, hey, that's a Thrive student. Now they're within their small community that they wouldn't have met prior. So I think I've noticed that too, going into different Thrive communities that are maybe pulled out of bigger towns. They don't know as many people. I even think within big towns though too. It's hard. Like sometimes people don't go out of their way to get to know other families. They got to kind of be pushed a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So you've been a homeschool mom for a long time. When you started homeschooling, what was kind of your hope for your kids in stepping into that role? Because we know it's the harder choice.
Yeah. Well, I had two hopes. So it's evolved. So my first hope was like, oh my gosh, my kids are going to be the best kids ever. And they're going to be, this is their, they're going to be perfect. So that soon changed into, no, I can't make perfect adults. But what I did love is I wanted to make confident adults. I wanted to make kids or have kids learn how to be bored and create. And so to see I call them batches, my first batch now doing that, they're creative, they're entrepreneurs, they're learning, they're not sticking with the mold. And I think that was my biggest thing is I wanted my kids to branch out, to be free thinkers, to be people who could gather information and make their own decisions. And to see that happening in front of my eyeballs makes me know that I didn't ruin them.
And you can tell others.
Yeah, I can tell them that, you're not going to ruin your child. They're going to do. And also for me, they're doing what they were created to do. They aren't pushed into one thing or the other. They're doing what they are doing, what they feel called to do, or whatever they're doing, which I love.
Yeah, their own confident little beings.
Yeah. So my goal was for them to be citizens that would contribute. Someone that would make a dent on this earth in a positive way.
And you can speak that you have kiddos in all ages that are doing
ages.
That, which
and
is testament to all the stuff you did for your kids. So you're amazing.
Thank you.
I want to touch on something that I haven't had a chance to, because I think if I think of homeschool families, I know me specifically, I'm protective of my kids. You don't want them to face challenges. You don't want them to be hurt. You don't kind of protect them a bit, right? And then they come to Thrive communities, and we're in a group of kids, and there's some conflict going on, and there's some, strife that they're facing that they've never faced. And being a homeschool mom yourself, and you're within the Thrive community, seeing that happen, how do we work through at Thrive with kiddos? How do we help them through conflict? And why is that important for a parent to let that happen and let them deal with a little bit of conflict?
I love conflict. And I say it in a positive way, because what it does is it sharpens us. It sharpens the child's ability to think, the child's ability to adapt, the child's and a safe environment. So I'm not talking bullying. I'm talking, this just today, something happened, and one of my cute kids, like, I don't know if I like that. Well, okay, well, why? Let's explain why. And well, so-and-so is doing this. Okay, well, let's talk to him about it. Learning conflict resolution, I feel, is the most important thing we can do even as adults. Yeah. So if we can learn to converse with each other. So being a homeschool mom, I want to protect my kid. I want to protect him from everything. But unfortunately, it's like germs. If we don't ever go outside, we're going to be like, we're never going to learn. Our body's not going to learn our immune system's not going to work, right? So having these kids touch each other and in everyday conversations and being able to be around each other. Now they're learning, okay, not only learning a subject, I'm learning people interaction. And we at Thrive love to help kids walk through that. So I sit there with them, I let them speak. Okay, so how did that make you feel? And so, okay, this is what it made me feel. And sometimes we'll use the daily manner that we're doing, okay, would it helped if you just said please instead of just grabbing it from them? Oh yeah. And then like, I would have liked it for you to say please. And it's just so wonderful for them to learn how to communicate.
Yeah.
Grown-ups need to do that.
I know. Some don't. Some have not learned that for sure. And I think, you and I are both program leads. We see, parents just really don't want their kids to go through anything pain, really pain. And we understand that so deeply. But how many times have you and I seen a kiddo work through emotions or communicate more clearly that they didn't like something or stand up for themselves a little bit more? Even the older kids being able to work through a disagreement and when they're emotional. We've seen it time and time and again.
And use words. They now are learning how to use words. I mean, I don't want to see my kid go through something. I mean, it hurts me as a mom. I want to cry with them. But at the same time, watching these kids learn how to interact and do it in a way that's building up is amazing. And we have an example, one of my kids who, he just had such a little rough start. And he didn't know how to be around the kids, and being able to walk and foster that with him and work with the parent. And we were giving him words, and he is now like one of my role models. And he gained confidence. And I think that's the biggest thing. We want to make sure that these kids are learning how to have confidence in themselves and being able to, when they get out there in the world, they're going to need to know this and not always be offended. And learning how to see other people's point of view. It's been amazing. Yeah,
there's so many things that Thrive brings to a community, but that one I think is such an important one that we forget about because every community has conflict, right? Adults, no matter what group, there's conflict. And so it's so important to let kids know that does happen. And here's some tools to help you through some of those things.
Yeah.
So I love that about Thrive. It's helped my twins a lot too. Yeah. They fight,
Yes.
And so
twins, I love them.
They have strong personalities. So I wanted to make sure we touched on that. The last question I'm going to kind of touch on here is you've now been with Thrive since the beginning. You're one of the original people who started here. What do you think, what do you align with Thrive so strongly? Like why do you feel so strongly about Thrive?
I align the most with traditional schooling. I love that we have traditional values. It's really unoffensible. Like I liken it unto, I get to go to Little House on the Prairie or Anna Green Gables today. And it's not going to do, since we are not faith-centered, I don't have to worry what someone's going to be teaching my child. I love that, and I can go in there and feel safe. And I know that they're going to allow me as the parent to raise my child in the way I want to raise them, but they're going to learn the basics. They're going to learn history, and they're going to learn all these wonderful things about, and they're going to do an activity with it. And then it's just, I love that piece of it, that it's not just book knowledge. It is, like we were talking about with personal knowledge, with conflict, but it's also now my kids come home and talk about it. And they tell me stuff that I'm like, I told my teachers today, I want to go to Thrive. I want to just sit in a classroom and just observe and just learn and just do. So I loved being a teacher because I got to do that. But now I don't get to do it as much. So I'm a little jealous of them. But it is, those align with my values. They really show who I am. I feel like Thrive literally was made for me and my family. So
and we hope most people feel that way, right? Almost everybody. We want them to feel just like this is their place. And
if this episode encouraged you, share it with another family who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We'll see you next time.